Beach today has had several different titles. Misadventures in Spain. Life's not about the destination. And best laid plans. Now we'd like you to sit back and listen to this tale. And like he did in Spain, just go with it. Just go with it. Jeremy Udell.
Ladies and gentlemen, Flight 1545 with service to Dublin will be delayed due to inclement weather. We apologize for the inconvenience.
Who hasn't had an experience like that? Fellow articulators, welcome guests. In 2006, my wife and I planned a trip to Spain and Ireland. We were going to do the Camino de Santiago. It's a pilgrimage across northern Spain from east to west. And from there, we'd spend a couple days in Dublin, since we had to connect through Dublin anyway. We had everything planned, down to the last day. Until... Miss, how long do you think the flight will be delayed? It was supposed to take off at 8 p.m. We expect to take off right around midnight, sir. We'd left a 2-hour layover in Dublin for our connection to Spain. A 4-hour delay in New York was going to be problematic for us. And sure enough, we missed our connection. So we'll just catch the next flight to St. John de Pied in Spain, right? No problem. 2 days. 2 days before the next flight to St. John de Pied was going out. But they offered us, we can take a flight to Biarritz, which is 200 kilometers from Spain, and you can take a train from there. That's the next day, though. That's what we did. We figured, even if we got there late the next day, it would still be better than getting there 2 days from when we'd initially planned. And that night, we did have a very nice evening in Dublin. We made it to St. John de Pied after some misadventures with French trains. And from there, we slept in a monastery and took off the next morning on what is known as the most arduous part of the pilgrimage, 30 kilometers uphill that first day. It was tough. And then we slept outdoors in a tent that night because the albergue, which usually puts up pilgrims, didn't have any more room inside. August is warm in Spain, but the nights are cold in the mountains, I can tell you. I did not sleep well that night. The next day, after not sleeping, and a hard day's walk the day before, we walked 10 kilometers to Zubiri. My wife and I agreed, that's it, we're done for today. 10 kilometers is fine. Every room in Zubiri was booked. Why? Because the next town beyond that was having a huge festival, meaning what? Every room in that town was also booked. We caught a cab to go another 15 kilometers beyond that to the next town. But hey, we were making up time from when we had initially lost it. When we got there, 1 room left in the entire town. But we got it. And we had a nice night there as well. The next day, as we had planned, we walked into Pamplona. Pamplona's a beautiful city. We'd always planned on spending a night there. Well, when we looked at train schedules, we found out that we couldn't take the trains we wanted to take out of Pamplona the next day because there was no trains going to the places we wanted to go in Spain. So we had to go ahead and just go directly to Santiago from there. We'd initially planned on walking from about 50 kilometers outside of Santiago to Santiago because to get credit for having finished the pilgrimage, you have to walk a certain distance. Doesn't matter which pieces of the trail, but at least 100 kilometers to get credit. Well, that was right out the window. So we'd spend our night in Pamplona and leave the next day. Did we buy tickets at the train station that day while we were checking train schedules? No, of course not. There's plenty of tickets on a train. I think I telegraphed that one.
Yeah.
The next day, every train going west is booked. It's August, everyone's going to the beach. So a second day in Pamplona, there went all that time we made up from the cab ride, right? But when we got to Santiago, 2 days from then, it was beautiful, and I highly recommend it. We had a great time. I ate octopus, which was really, really good. They cook it in garlic, it's yummy. And then we took a trip out to Finisterre, which, for those of you who can speak Spanish, you probably know it means the end of the earth. It's the farthest western point in Spain. They used to think it was the end of the world before they knew that North America existed, right? So that's why it's called that, and it's usually beautiful. When we got out there, there were wildfires in the area. It was covered in smoke and ash. It was hard to see that there was an ocean even nearby. So we left pretty quickly and got trapped on the way back by the wildfires and had to literally deboard the bus while planes flew overhead and bombed the fires with sand. I have pictures of these planes. They had borrowed planes from Italy because the wildfires were so out of control they didn't have enough of their own planes to stop these things. We had to take a circuitous route back to Santiago. Eventually, we made our way out of Santiago onto Dublin through London. We spent 2 days in London because terrorism delayed us getting out of London, but that's a whole separate story. The whole point is that Rebecca, the entire time, who I love, was upset, complaining. All these plans she worked so hard on, out the window. Meanwhile, I smiled the entire trip. We were having a trip with razzmatazz. I saw beautiful areas of Spain, got great pictures, met really nice people, and had the experience I wanted to have. What I learned is that just because all of your plans are collapsing doesn't mean you can't have the adventure of a lifetime. Just go with it.